Hi guys! So a little while ago I reviewed Soul Swift by Megan Bannon, and it was real nice because I have been getting things from NetGalley and Edelweiss for a little while and not reading them. And while I've been very careful to get things that are just downloads, so I'm not like a request, which for me seems a little bit different because if I request it, then maybe I'm meant to review it. I mean, Edelweiss knows that I'm a librarian and I'm looking at titles for acquisition and not for review, but I still feel really, really bad when I get advanced review copies and I don't offer the publisher at least some return. And it's not that I don't care, it's just that life is insane. So after reading Soul Swift, I decided to go back into both my Kindle account, my NetGalley account, and my Edelweiss account and make a list of the books that are trapped in my e-reader, hence the title. So we'll start with NetGalley because this list is shorter. I don't spend a lot of time on NetGalley, like I said, because most of those are requests, and I know myself enough that I probably won't be able to give them a review. I should say that I do use these books as a chance to breeze over them, potentially for acquisition at my library, but I'm not actually like reading them enough to review them. So with that disclaimer there, some of these books are going to get real super old, particularly when we get into the like deep dark recesses of my Kindle, because I used to get, Kindle daily deals or whatever all the time, or I would pick up books. And so some of these are really old. So the NetGalley and the Edelweiss stuff is probably going to be more exciting. But anyway, here we go. So this is NetGalley. Obviously I don't have anything to show you, but I will fix it in post. So on NetGalley, I have The Evil Queen by Gina Showalter. I have heard Gina Showalter's name so much, and so when this showed up, I requested it because Gina Showalter doing YA sounds amazing. Haven't read it. I also have Soul of the Sword by Julie Kagawa. I also have the book that comes before Soul and the Sword by Julie Kagawa, and I haven't read that either. Sometimes I will go, oh, I own the first book. Kind of like with Soul Swift, and I was like, oh, I've read her before. I haven't read it. I own it, but I haven't read it. I don't know what this obsession is. Maybe I have like some weird, like freaky suggest click finger because there was no Book Expo America this year. I don't know. I'm sorry, Julie. Maybe I will read both of them and then do like a dual review. I've also got Crown of Coral and Pearl by Mara Rutherford. I just love these covers. I definitely judge a book by its cover, and that's why I got this one. I also have The Merciful Crow by Margaret Owen. If you know anything about me, if you throw up a YA novel that vaguely involves a female assassin, I'm there. I'm there so fast. And this book has been calling to me quite a bit recently, and hopefully I'll be able to read that soon. So that's it for NetGalley. I should mention none of these are in any particular order. They're just the way that various lists showed up on my computer. So sorry. So my Edelweiss list is a little bit longer. And the first one on it is The Winter Duke by Claire Eliza Bartlett. I read We Own the Night, which was Claire Bartlett's debut. Absolutely loved it. So when I saw The Winter Duke come up, I was like, yes. Haven't read it. But at least I've read the first one, and I actually remembered correctly that I had read it. So this is what I got. Next one on Edelweiss is Star Daughter by Shivta Thakur. Guys, I know that I have it on NetGalley, but I love this cover so much. Like, if the book ends up being like good enough, I may still get myself a hardcover because it's so pretty and I love it. I also have Set Fire to the Gods by Sarah Rash and Kristen Simmons. I don't remember requesting this book. But then I saw it when our YA librarian bought it and I was like, oh my god, I really want to read that. And then I was doing this challenge and I was like, I hate myself. I've also got A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne Brown. Yet again, another one where I was totally taken in by the cover. I just want to read it. And this is the thing I think is the problem with these books on my e-reader, is that many of these I request because I see the cover and I go, ooh, and then I read the description and I go, ooh. But like without the cover to stare at me, I forget that I have it, because I really do prefer, physical books and things like that. So that's why I really needed to make this list. I also have Blood and Honey by Shelby Mahurin. I think that's how you pronounce that. The first book in this series is Serpent and Dove, which I got at the last BEA that we were allowed to have and haven't read. It's fine. It's great, guys. I also have The Archer at Dawn by Swati Teerdala. I might be saying that wrong. The first book in this series is one that I have and have read and I believe reviewed. And if I am wrong about the reviewed part, it won't be there, but otherwise it'll be up there in the top linked. Because sometimes I not only read a book, I also review it. I know this is a wild concept for BookTube, but here we are. I also got The Boundless by Anna Bright. The first book in this series I read a really long time ago, and I remember really enjoying it. So much so that when The Boundless came out, I actually requested it from another library, got it, didn't read it in the time, and I was really disappointed with myself, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to request that again. I don't, because I got it from Edelweiss and didn't remember. This is why you write things down. I also have We Unleash the Merciless Storm by Taylor K. Mejia. This is another book in a series that I haven't read the first one of, and I also know that I don't own. So I will be purchasing that book or getting it from the library. But I heard really powerful things about the first book, and as I try to read more widely and more diversely, it just seemed like one of those books that I should read. So hopefully knowing that this is here will get me, to actually read that series. I also have Sisters of Sword and Song by Rebecca Ross. I don't remember requesting this, but the cover's cool. I've got The Betrothed by Kira Cass. I have feelings about the selection books. I really do. And I never read like the 2 books on her kid that come later, but I really, really like the idea of The Betrothed, which is rather than like the princess meets the prince and they fall in love. Like the princess has to marry a prince, but she falls in love with someone else. And I like the idea of it. So yes, this is one of the few that I actually remember enough of to tell you what it's about. Sorry. I also have The Crow Rider by Kaylin Josephson. Again, this is one that I have the hardcover of, actually right there. It's The Storm Crow. I point like you can see it. You can't. But just the covers alone make me love these books. Have I read The Storm Crow? No, I haven't. I just can't be trusted. I also got Among the Beasts and Briars by Ashley Poston. I had heard really good things about this and liked the cover. And so, again, it was available to download. I did not request it. And I was like, yeah, sure. And then I've got Lightbringer by Claire Legrand. The first book in this series is Furyborn, which I started, got halfway through on, and kind of gave up on. But I have so many friends who, when I was working at Barnes & Noble at the time, were like, this is an amazing book. So I want to go back to it, maybe discuss with those friends what it was that I couldn't get with, and then try to figure that out, because on paper, this is a series that should be for me. So I'll try it again. Maybe my head wasn't in the right space, and I can then continue. And then I also have The Iron Raven by Julie Kagawa. I love Julie Kagawa, even though I apparently have multiple of her books sitting on my shelves that I haven't read. I'm sorry, Julie. Forgive me. So now, we are gonna sew blast from the past. I hope that you guys are ready because I was going through some of the stuff in the back end of my Kindle that I got. I don't know, it was like the Kindle Daily Deal, or I'm part of like the First Reads Club. So they give you free books. I actively now try not to spend any money on Amazon as much as I can. I use, either shopping directly from my local bookstore or, Libro FM for audiobooks, whatever it is. I tried not to give them any more of my money. So some of these I bought, some of these were just like available for free. But so some of these are really old. Whew, are you ready? Okay, so I've got Anna Dressed in Blood by Kendar Blake, which is the book that was first recommended for me to get into Kendar Blake. I have since read other Kendar Blake books, like her Three Crowns, whatever the heck that is, series. I didn't like it, so I forget the name. Uh, but I heard really, really amazing things about Anna Dressed in Blood, and I'm pretty sure it was on sale, and I was just like, blunk. I also have Possessed by Gretchen McNeil. I literally bought this book because Gretchen McNeil was the first YA author that I heard of that shared my name, and I was like, I will support you, and I bought this book and then never read it, so, sorry. I've got The Vincent Boys by Abby Glines. I don't know why I have this book. I must have been in a romance mood. Maybe this was around the time I first read Anna and the French Kiss and I went on like a huge YA contemporary romance binge. That might explain it. I have Darker Still by Leanna Renee Heber. I don't remember buying this book. I don't remember why. I remember nothing about it. It was like 2013. And since 2020 has taken at least 30 years to get like as far through it as we have, that maybe is why. I've got Easy by Tamara Weber. I got nothing. It's crickets for me. Touch of Frost by Jennifer Estep. Estep? Someone at our library just checked these books out. And so when I saw it, I was like, oh, like this is a pretty big series, like a long series now. Like, oh, maybe this would be fun. So cool. Glad I have it. I've also got The Mask of Red Death by Bethany Griffin. Isn't this an Edgar Allan Poe retelling? I didn't look this up before I did this video because I wanted you guys to see my massive confusion and like shame myself. So, sorry. I've got Sweet Venom by Tara Lynn Childs. I got nothing. This book must have been making the rounds when I bought it though. Cinder and Sapphires by Leela Rashid. I looked at the cover and I was like, this was when I was really, really doing like a lot of historical fiction, particularly around like this kind of like English, like aristocrat thing. So it makes sense that I have it, but I don't remember getting it at all. The Scorpio Races by Mackie Stiefvater. I have it. I've never read it. There are people in my life that are like throwing things in my general direction at this point because they love Maggie so much. I'm sorry. I didn't read it. I remember why I got this one. So based on a friend's recommendation, because it was the Daily Deal or, one of those, like, I don't know what they call them now. I don't Amazon. Poison Study by Maria V. Schneider. I know for a fact that this was based on someone's recommendation and she shared that it was only like $2.99 or $1.99 or whatever on Amazon. Then I didn't read it. Weirdly enough, the next book on my list was The Queen's Poisoner by Jeff Wheeler. Pretty sure this was a first reads that I just got for free. I apparently also have Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo on my Kindle. I also bought the paperback. Like, this is the problem. Like, this is why I need to do this. Going through my Kindle books that I have read, I realize there are like multiple books on there that I own in hardback or paperback, hard copy, and also on my Kindle for no reason at all. So, you know, I don't know. I've also got House of Rejoicing by Libby Hawker. This is a book on ancient Egypt, so I'm figuring that would have been why I got it. I love ancient Egypt. Then I've got The 100th Queen by Emily R. King. I know for a fact this was a first reads thing, and they must do other stuff with her because much later on I also have Before the Broken Star by Emily R. King. So sorry, Emily. They sounded good enough for me to click yes. I just never read them. I think in the same token, that's how I got Smoke and Summons by Charlie Holmberg, although this one I don't remember anything about. And then my most recent one, which I remember because I've been on my romance kick, is Roommate by Soraya Wilson. Guys, if you have read any of the books that I just went over, or the first books in some of these series that I still need to read, whether or not I have it, drop in the comments which ones you think that I should read, or also let me know if there are ones that I maybe could push to the back of the pile because you read them and they weren't super great. That's just great for me to know because, well, I do hope to eventually read through all these, particularly the NetGalley and Edelweiss ones. My time is precious to me, and reading YA is hard. So let me know which ones I should push forward, which ones I should push back, and I'm gonna keep going. I got myself to read Soul Swift, so I am feeling positive that I can keep this trend going. So let me know what you think down in the comments, hit me up, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!